I have something positive to say about the Kenyan police. Either they have changed or someone lied to me about them when I was young. Because I built up this very scary image of these people, almost inhuman, like they had no remorse for anything or anyone. That all they wanted was money. And if you didn't have that, you're completely fucked. At least that's what I thought. And I stayed away from the police for most of my life until recently. Let's say a couple, 3, 4 years ago. That was the first time that I was arrested, and I expected things to go very badly. It was during Corona, and I didn't have a mask. So I was walking along the road, and they were going picking up everyone who didn't have a mask and putting them behind the cop car. So some men in Boda told me, "Don't walk that way. The police are picking up everyone on this street." But I didn't understand them. I didn't understand they were talking to me. So I continued walking. And true to their word, a policeman came out of the car, grabbed my hand by the wrist, and pushed me into the cop car. There are like 6 other people, and the car started moving. So I was sure we were going to the police station at that time. And people started negotiating with the police. Oh, I only have 1,000 shillings. Or I only have 2,000 shillings. Or I only have 500 shillings. Some would say, can you give me a UM-Pesa, then I can send it to you because I don't have cash. And then the police would say, oh, our phone number is 911. There is no other phone number that we have. So people got out to go to the M-Pesas and withdraw money. And they did. They did. Someone forked out 2,000 shillings, another one 1,000. Another one was able to convince them to get away with 500. And the others were still making calls. They didn't have any money, so they were seated there. So personally, I didn't know what to do. It was the first time I had ever encountered the police. And I kind of wanted to see how this process goes. I didn't say a word. I didn't call anyone. I didn't have any cash in my pocket. I had some cash in my M-Pesa, but I didn't think of telling them that. I was just quiet, just seeing how these things happen. And then we were riding. The people were reducing as they gave out money. The car was getting more and more empty, like the police car. And so it was just me and a couple other people who were making calls at that time to their family members. They were students. And then one of the cops just asked, "Why are you so quiet? Why are you not saying anything? You see, everyone is talking around you. Why are you so quiet?" I didn't say anything. I had some medication in my pocket. I was thinking of telling them that I'd gone to buy medication from the shop, and that's why I was walking. I didn't have a mask. I didn't remember. But suddenly the cop is like, "Do you want to walk out of this car?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" I didn't tell him that, but in my head, what do you mean just walk out of the car? I can't just walk out of a police car. I need to be escorted out or something like that. And he's like, "Okay, you're not going to say anything. Get out." And I was surprised. Get out? And so I started getting out. I thought he would tell me, haha, I was joking. You thought you could get away. That's what I expected him to say. But no, he didn't say a word. I walked out of the car, and then he's like, if you don't have a means of transport back to where we took you from, this guy will exit out with you and he will help you. He has some cash. So it's like they actually care that I might need some support in getting back to where I was. That was an encounter. I got out. Luckily, I had carried my ID, so I was able to use my M-Pesa, withdrew some money, got an Uber at that time, and I was able to go to where I was going. Then another time I encountered police. It was around midnight, I think, somewhere between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. And I had been working all night. Like, I was suffering from chronic restlessness, which was coupled with my schizophrenia. So I'd been walking the entire night. And I happened to pass through a shortcut. There's a shortcut I used, and the shortcut was passing through private property. And I didn't know that because I'd never passed there before. I didn't know there was a problem passing there. And they had even employed a security guard to ensure that no one trespassed there. So I trespassed and I got out on the other end. Then that's when the security guy saw me and he got angry. He's like, how dare you pass through this place? And I don't want to tell him I didn't know, but I was angry. I got angry that he spoke to me like that. So I engaged him in a fight. I didn't have any weapons. He had a slasher at that time. So he was hitting me with a slasher and I was getting closer and closer to him. He was using his torch to blind me in the eye so that I couldn't see where he was. I could see he was scared even though I didn't have any weapons on me. So he hit my hand until my hands became numb. I couldn't I couldn't move anymore. So I just went. There was a veranda, a cemented veranda down there. I went and slept there. Like just lay down, not sleeping, like closing my eyes and everything. And this guard was so scared, he blew the whistle. He blew the whistle, which is supposed to alert all the other guards nearby to come and rescue him. And they did. They came. He called out. There was one Masai guy who was just next to him. I heard him saying, Masai, come here. Then there was a guy on a boda. And then there was another random guy who I didn't know where he came from. And then the other guys, however, they refused to, like, the security guard wanted the other guys to beat me up. But the other guys refused to beat me up, especially because I was a student in a nearby school. So I think they were afraid or something. I don't know. But they called the police at that time. So they called the police. I didn't even know. And then they informed the police that I was trying to steal. That's what they told the police. They told the police I was trying to steal. And they told the police there was four of us. And that the others escaped and I'm the only one who they were able to catch. That was the story they told the police. Very believable. That makes me look like it justifies them calling the police that I was the one who escaped. So the police were asking, where are those people who you are here robbing with? I'm trying to tell them I was alone and I was not robbing, but no one was listening to me. So they took me, slapped me, put me in the back of the cop car, and we continued our journey to the police station. But then on the way, they asked me, what were you doing there? What were you doing there at this time? Where are the rest of your friends who you're stealing with? And I tell them I wasn't stealing. I was just trespassing. And it's like I'm a student in that school nearby. And then they ask, where are your parents? I tell them my parents are back in Nyandarua. They ask, do you have any relatives here in Nairobi? Like I don't know of any relatives that I have in Nairobi. So we walked for like we moved with the car for a while. Then all of a sudden, they asked me, where do you live? And then we were just getting close to where I used to live as we were moving on with the car. I tell them it's the gate, the black gate that we just passed. That's where I live. Then the cop just tells me, yeah, get out and go home and sleep. Yeah, don't be walking out at night. And that was it. I walked out of the cop car. They didn't take me to jail. They didn't file anything against me. They just let me go. They didn't ask me for any money. They just let me go. I was surprised. That's not what I expected. Then the other time, me and my friend had been smoking weed, and we were walking on the street. And he's quite the daredevil, let me say. So he was smoking weed along the street as we were walking. I was walking right behind him. He was the one carrying the weed at that time. I had smoked a little bit, but then he was the one who was carrying the weed for both of us. So the police come to me. They're like, where is that weed smell coming from? Are you the one smoking weed? I'm like, no, I'm not the one smoking weed. Then he's like, do you know this guy ahead of you? Is he your friend or something like that? And I'm like, no, I don't know the guy. He's my friend, but I said I don't know the guy. Then they went to him. They went to him and they smelled the weed on him. Then they checked his pockets and they found more weed. So they put him in handcuffs and they had him going all the way. But I felt bad. I felt bad because I'd been smoking with him. So I decided to follow the police. I followed them to where they were before they took him to the police station. And I caught up with them. I'm like, what's wrong? Why did you get my friend? Then I told them when I told them it's my friend, they're like, "You told us you don't know the guy." I'm like, "No, he's my friend. I didn't know who you're talking about." I was like, "Yeah, we caught your friend with weed, and we are taking him to the police because weed is illegal." And I tried to talk to them. I'm like, "This guy is depressed. He has a lot of stress in him. He is not taking weed because he's a criminal or a bad person. He's just someone who is finding life hard and trying to cope." That's what all of us are doing. And he asked, "Have you also been smoking with him?" I'm like, "No, I haven't been smoking with him. That time I'm really high," as I'm telling him that. But they're like, "No, if you're not going to talk the normal way, which is financially, and then just go away." So they left, and I was like, he's not a criminal, you know that." A few minutes later, as I'm walking back to where I used to live, I meet the guy. They have released him. They didn't ask him for anything or any money or anything like that. They just let him go. Then I met them. I met them while they're also going in an opposite direction. I just smiled at them and then we just passed, and that was it. No money, no cruel people. These people have a heart. Then the last time, the fourth time, now they found me smoking. Like they caught me in the act. It was the blunt was in my mouth and it was all red at the front. Then they were not dressed in police clothes. They were dressed in casual clothes. Then they're like, um, "Why are you smoking here? You were smoking on private property." Then he flashed a light on my blunt. It's like, "Continue smoking." Then I tell him, "I can't smoke while you're pointing that light at me. I just turn off the light, then I'll continue smoking." I didn't know there were police at that time, by the way. I didn't know there were police. I thought they were just casual people walking, but people used to come and smoke with us. So they're like, "Can I smoke some?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you can smoke some." And here it is. Then he's like, "I'm the police and you're smoking around here." So they took handcuffs, they put me in handcuffs, and they were ready to take me to the police. Then they're like, "Where's your phone?" At that time, I didn't carry my phone. I had not carried my phone. I think they wanted me to withdraw some money. I don't know. And I tell them I don't have a phone. They're like, "Where do you live?" I say, I live in the hostels in the school, just here." And they're like, "Why are you smoking? Do your parents know you're smoking? Does the school know you're smoking?" And I told them, "Yeah, I suffer from a mental illness. It just calms me down. Yeah, my parents know I smoke. The school also knows I smoke," which was true. They do know. They knew I was smoking at that time. This police tell me, "Okay, seems like you're suffering from some things." So they uncuff me at that time. They uncuff me, and I go back to sit. And they had taken my blunt, which was lit. And they're like, "Do you want me to return this blunt to you?" That's what they asked me. I'm like, "What? What do you mean? You're asking whether you should return it to me?" I definitely thought even if you let me go, you'd carry it, because that's what I was used to hearing stories about. Once they catch you, they take your blunts. I don't know whether they smoke them or not, and then they get some money from you and all that. They didn't get any money from me, and they asked me, like, "Yes, that would be very helpful because I really use it for my anxiety, my depression, and all that." And they gave it back to me and walked away just like that. I was surprised. I was wondering, have the cops changed since the last time I had stories about them? Because all I hear are bad stories. Stories of people who have been molested, if I may use that word. People who have been gone through trauma. Like, it didn't sound like the police I was meeting at this time. But I must say that the police either have changed or they do have a heart. They are people. And I see them more like that. I know you may not have gone through a similar situation like mine. Or maybe you panicked and I don't know. I don't know what might have happened in your case. But in my case, I can't really call them out because I've not experienced the other side. I've not experienced that inhuman side that people tell me. Like, I saw human beings who are able to empathize with you, who are able to feel your pain and your stress and your depression, and who are able to reason logically and be like, "This guy is not a criminal. He's just doing these things because of his condition and everything." Yeah, that was my experience. Share yours.